The housing market is an emotional mess. It is so unaffordable. The equity run-up was almost 50%. So I would say the housing market now is extremely toxic. It's full of toxic cheerleading, and it's full of home buyers that are, most of them are buying recklessly without a plan.
What's up, guys? I'm Nobody Special, and I am very happy to bring a special guest with you today from the Real Estate Mindset channel on YouTube. I've got Travis here with us, and we are going to talk about the housing market. Travis, how we doing today, brother?
Doing good, man. Happy Saturday to you, brother, and looking forward to talking to you finally, man.
Yeah, we've been trying to set this up for a while now. The YouTube algorithm has been showing me your channel like crazy lately, and, we commented a few times, and, the second I saw your channel and I saw, here we got a fellow financial YouTuber, and he's got a Darth Vader in the background. I got to bring this guy on the channel. So here he is. My compliments on your decor and on your channel. Real Estate Mindset is a dedicated housing real estate channel, and it's one of the best ones out there. So I've really been enjoying your stuff. And Travis, first of all, general question. Give me your broad overview on the state of the housing market right now.
Brutal, Jack. No tee up right there?
No tee up. Just open the floodgates, brother. Let it all out.
Okay, man. Well, I'm just going to the best of my ability, to sum up what's going on in the housing market right now, man. I mean, overall, I think that many of the home buyers right now, not all, okay, but many of the home buyers right now are basically being fooled into that warped idea and dream of home ownership. And I believe what's happening, man, is there's a lack of caution as far as the home buying. The fear of missing out kind of came back after the banks got bailed out around March of this year. And basically what has happened in 2023 is we essentially had two declining months starting this year. Not in every metro area, most metro areas, January and then February. And then again, the housing market picked up around March. The good news is, Jack, is it's actually hit the peak. We're past the peak now. Prices are going down, inventory up. But right now, man, the housing market is an emotional mess. It is so unaffordable. The equity run up was almost 50% in roughly 2.5 years. Unaffordability right now is almost 40% of median household income going to just interest and principal, not even counting taxes and insurance. So I would say the housing market now is extremely toxic. It's full of toxic cheerleading, and it's full of home buyers that are, most of them are buying recklessly without a plan, without a goal, not using the data to find the deal. And I believe that it's, I think it's going to fall apart, man. I think the key here, Jack, and we weren't able to do it this year. Okay, we started price decline last year around June 2022. Price decline breaking seasonality. I'm talking value decline, not normal seasonality. We broke that. We can see that in case-shiller. So case-shiller, we had 7 months of home value decline. I'm not talking median sales price. Again, followed by 4.5 months. So the question is why didn't home values continue to decline? I believe the answer to that, Jack, is because that the QE. We don't have to call it QE. But they've injected a lot of money in the system around March, and we didn't go into recession. We didn't have job loss. I think what happens here is if we can break the seasonality in 2024 around March, if we break that, probably as a result of a recession, we break the Fed put as well, I think we have the full-blown price crash. And the reality is, man, and the reason I think that is the fundamentals aren't there. When the fundamentals aren't there, it's not sustainable. And I think we saw that last year start, because when you don't have that toxic buying, fear of missing out buying to prop up the prices, the housing market comes crashing down, at least in prices. And I think we're going to see that, happen from now. We've already seen it. I'm in the data every day, especially in new home sales, brother. Prices, in my opinion, overall, not in every metro, but overall, they're going to go down between now and all the way probably until February. If we have our recession, I think we break through seasonality next year, and I think full-blown price crash, quite frankly.
So some pretty powerful words there. I heard toxic a lot, toxic buying, reckless behavior, right? All things that kind of rhymes with 2008, 2009. Although at risk of saying this time is different, there's one thing that I've seen consistently used by the housing bulls, and they're few, but there are still some housing bulls out there. And they keep talking about supply, that there's a shortage, that the reason why the prices aren't going down, even though homes are so unaffordable, as you pointed out, they've never been this unaffordable, is that there's just not enough supply. And the basic law of price, supply and demand, if supply stays low, those prices aren't going to budge. So what do you see on the horizon as far as housing supply And where do you think that's going from here?
Well, I mean, first of all, I'll acknowledge their point. Supply is vital. We do need supply. We need supply to have a balanced housing market. But the thing is there's other, things involved here like unaffordability, right? Lack of wage growth, not defaults yet. But to answer your question, brother, we already have the supply in new homes. The new home inventory right now is an absolute buyer's market. Fred just updated their charts, I think 2 days ago, I think on the 27th. And there's over 7 months of supply right now with new homes. So new homes is a buyer's market. That's why you see these massive price cuts. That's why you see Lennar. You go on Lennar's website right now, go to Texas, they're offering a 4.25% fixed rate, dude. So we have the inventory for new homes right now, and we're just going to get more and more from the new homes. The thing is resale. How are we going to get the inventory with resale? Well, you have to look at a couple things. We have the lock-in effect, right? So a lot of those homeowners have that low interest rate. So what would force them to sell, right? So we need a little bit of forced selling. We don't have job loss. First of all, once we have job loss, it's another book. We're going to write another chapter of the story, but we don't have job loss. So absent job loss, I think that, the biggest catalyst right now is time. I think consumers are getting beat up. They're drowning in credit card debt. Although foreclosure defaults aren't there, every other default is there, starting with eviction. So I think it's unraveling, man. And I still think, though, from the resale aspect, absent unemployment, I don't know that we'll recover in resale absent a recession, to be honest with you. Nevertheless, though, there's always going to be forced selling. You have divorces, you have relocation for jobs. I've tried to do some numbers the best that I can. It's hard, Jack, okay? But I try to say how many people a year get divorced that own a house? How many people that own a house relo? Between 1 million and 2 million forced sales a year. And forced selling is normal, right? But to force, being forced to sell in an environment that's toxic, or when you're upside down in your house, that's what leads to foreclosure and short sale. And right now in the resale market, again, we don't have short sale and foreclosure, Jack. And the reason is there's no point for people to foreclose unless you purchased after 2022. Mid-market 2022, then you have that $1,000 higher mortgage payment. You don't have any equity. You purchased prior to 2022, you have probably $1,000 lower mortgage payment, $100,000 in equity. So those people, the bigger piece of that pie, it's going to take time for any forced selling there from a foreclosure standpoint. But the new home buyers, man, the new home buyers are all in danger. Quite frankly, it's a completely different world purchasing, post 2022.
You echoed some things that I've been saying on my own channel for a while there, and some of the conversations I have with my moderator, Mish, and we're kind of at the same place. That missing ingredient is unemployment, and we still haven't had that. The job market remains at least tight. My opinion is not as tight as is being advertised by the government, but people have not lost their jobs en masse, at least not enough yet to cause that decline. Now, you said something there that really sent a shiver down my spine in your last answer. You talked about Lennar offering a 4.25 fixed rate mortgage on a new home. All right. Help me understand that, because Fed just raised rates to 525 basis points for the overnight rate. How is a lender making money in this interest rate environment if he's giving somebody a 4.25% rate? That made me say, whoa, when I heard that.
Well, I mean, I think it's apparent, man. When we go in to look at their stocks, like if you go into DR, excuse me, you go into Lennar, and you look at their stocks, first, the layman's gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's like all-time highs. Like, you guys are crazy. Like, this is all-time highs, hurrah, hurrah. But when you look at their net income, all right, the gross income is basically the same, which is actually to be commended, because it's a pretty toxic market. But what's down considerably, Jack, is their net income being down, roughly 30%. 30 to 40%. So the way they're getting these rates, dude, is it costs these new home builders $30 to $40, $50,000 to lock in a 30-year fixed 2-3 points under par. And you know what's interesting? They've successfully etched out an entire section of the housing market that's theirs. Resale cannot touch it. The difference in payment, Jack, for a $400,000 loan, okay? If I buy a $400,000 house resale, and then I buy a $400,000 house with Lennar, getting that 4.25, brother, the difference in payment per month, $600 a month.
Wow.
So
Same house, same price, $600 payment difference.
Yes, yes. Now, I think price is more important than interest rate and payment, obviously, but that's a significant, interest change. $600 in just interest per month is something to consider. And I think that's why these new home builders are appearing like superheroes. But the reality is the only way they're selling these overvalued houses is they're throwing everything at the consumers, but the kitchen sink.
So really the lenders the builders here are out of pocket. You said sometimes 30 to 40 grand. So they're using their own cash to buy down the mortgage rate that a new home buyer signs on for. So they're artificially propping up the price of a new home, right? Isn't that what we're talking about here?
Well, essentially, in a nutshell, yes, I'll say that. I won't necessarily say it's artificial because they are buying the rate down, right? And they're fixing it. But they're also, they are artificially propping it up because they do not want to lower the prices. They want to do anything they can except lower the prices. And that's honorable typically because by them lowering the prices, Jack, they lock in all of the recent homeowners. How would you feel if you just bought a house and then a month later, the same house, same model selling for $100,000 less? You've just lost your equity. There's a new comparable sell. And so, here's the thing. Now that we're through that spring home buying season and halfway through the summer home buying season, it's done. That propping up, that toxic multi-bid overall is dead. It's done. It's going to decline throughout the year. And that's why as well, Lennar, and I found this out within 48 hours, Jack. 48 hours. Within 48 hours of this video, Lennar in Texas, you go to their website right now, essentially slashed prices on all of their inventory, minus for some reason Dallas. I'm really surprised about Dallas. But if you go to Houston, Austin, San Antonio, literally you go there, especially Houston and Austin, you see some of the listings, dude, 11% price cut. Now, the thing is, here's how you know if it's real. I went on my MLS. I'm a realtor. Okay. You don't know if it's a true price cut unless you have data to back up what the price is supposed to be, right? So I go and I check the property archives and check the listing dates. And these are legit price cuts, man. Now, around May of this year, there were some price cuts going around, but they were not legit. What happens is the builders will raise the price and then cut it to make it appear that they're price cutting. So you need both of that. You need to make sure you need to find the price cut, and then you need to verify that it's a legit price cut. And I did verify in Houston because that's my MLS. I have Austin as well, but I did verify in Houston. These are legit price cuts. And again, man, this is within 48 hours of this video.
Wow. So this is happening in real time right now. So that I'm assuming as they cut these prices, are they also walking back this buying down points on the mortgage as well to offset that? Or is that still happening? That's still happening. Wow.
Think about that. That tells us that the buying incentives are no longer enough. All right, so I'm going to Lennar right now. I want to show you this. I mean, this is so, look at, as soon as we go on Lennar, you see? Look at this, Jack. Dude, a 4.25? That is insane. That is a fixed rate. See, lock-in fixed rate 4.25, $10,000 towards closing costs. They keep messing with the dates. You see their dates to August 31st. But I mean, geez, these are huge. This is huge, man. Huge. Now, let me show you this as well. I'm going to go to Houston. Okay, we'll search Houston.
While you're bringing up Houston, you have to understand that, folks. A 4.25 fixed rate mortgage right now that Lennar is offering here, a 10-year Treasury yields 4% right now. And a 10-year Treasury is virtually risk-free. So you're talking about for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage from a home buyer who may or may not even be able to make those payments, only an additional quarter point interest. Only 25 basis points, 1/4%. That is the risk premium for a 30-year mortgage versus a risk-free government Treasury. This is, I don't know the word. I mean, you said toxic a few times. I think that's accurate. That's accurate what you said.
Well, I mean, it is toxic, man, because it's like I feel like, and when we ask ourselves, like, what changed this year? Like, why did all these buyers come back when last year we had less inventory? Homes were cheaper, so it should have pressure on houses going up in value, and they went down. So I asked myself, like, what changed other than the bailout? Let's just act like there wasn't some huge bailout. Let's just ignore the $400 billion. There's two things that changed: insane buying incentives And another thing that I think, the media narrative. You can't find anywhere in the media right now that's talking about housing crash or inversion of the yields or warning signs. It's crazy, dude. It's
No,
absolutely.
you
But
get
look at
soft
this.
landing and you get the Barbie movie box office and the health of the consumer. That's all you hear about in the financial press.
Jerome Powell, he was talking about the Taylor Swift concert and how great the economy was because the Taylor Swift concert sold out. I'm like, dude, unreal. Like, what about the inversion? What
Yeah,
about
Jay
this
Powell,
huge war?
big Taylor Swift fan. Jay Powell.
He must, man. Maybe yeah, it is what it is. But look at this. I logged on here. Here's Houston. Here's the map. These are all the new homes, kind of North Houston area. And look at the first house, man. It's been cut $23,000. That's what, about 7-8%. I mean, and we just go down here. Look, another one, dude. $33,000 off. Do you see? 34,000, brother. That's over 10%. There's one right there. 34,000, right? No,
And these all
24,000
just hit the tape recently, you're saying?
within 48 hours.
Wow.
This is, and not all of them, but look, another 20,000, this, and here's the amazing thing about all this. And this is really what I wanted, this is what I was getting at. Jack, we're not even through summer yet. They couldn't even make it through summer yet. And they already started price cutting. What is this landscape going to look like in the winter?
So you mentioned a few times breaking seasonality in some of your earlier answers. Is this what you're talking about? We're still at a point when home shoppers are out and looking. This is not the time of year you would see a price cut. Am I right?
So a few reasons why it's breaking seasonality, okay? Unaffordability. I mean, we could just pinpoint it right there. Unaffordability, essentially, they're trying to normalize. I don't think it's going to work. They're trying to normalize these values and these prices, and they're trying to normalize that off of the backs of normal, hardworking people. Because who's paying this, brother? I mean, there's someone that's paying these mortgages. It's the consumer. And I really think it's just, we're in a situation. First of all, I love real estate. I think everyone should eventually own real estate. It's just we're in a rare situation. It is a rare situation where extreme caution needs to be had if you're going to buy a primary residence. And some people buy still, Jack. It's okay, buy, but like there's certain things that I believe that we need to have before buying, like no consumer debt. Maybe 6 months to a year of expenses saved, and a proper expectation that you may be trapped in your house. Reassurance that you're going to keep your job. I mean, it's scary times right now, and I feel like people are being bullied into buying. I can't make sense of it. I mean, I see the comments. I see these buyer's remorse surveys, Jack. 93. The last survey, 93% of purchasers in 2023. So this is 2023. 93% had buyer's remorse. It's crazy.
Wow. As someone who lived with buyer's remorse for a first-time home, I bought my first home. I was only 26 years old at the time, 2006. That is a tough thing to live with. And I carried that property until 2017. That was rough.
Yeah.
Now, shifting gears a little bit, there's another phenomenon that we saw over the last few years. We saw in 2020 through 22 exploding rents. Mm-hmm. We saw Airbnbs go crazy, right? Everyone and their brother said, oh, buy anything you can get your hands on, borrow as much as you need, and then just Airbnb it, and it'll instantly cash flow. And we also saw the rise of the institutional landlord, right? The hedge funds and the REITs buying up single-family residential as a rental property. Now here we are, we're starting to see the first signs of rental declines in select markets around the country. Some are still going up, but some, namely the boom towns, are starting to come down. Do you see the rental market, short-term rentals, long-term rentals, either one, playing a role in possibly new supply coming online soon?
I think that's a huge role. I think the rental market is going to be, I think if we lose the rental market, we don't even need we'll have a recession probably, but I would almost say we don't even need if we lose the rental market, landlords are having to force sell. See, the thing is, people are talking about forced selling, but they're really emphasizing resale primary residence. I think we're going to have an abundance of inventory come from non-owner occupied, like investors, spectators, maybe even second homes. As property tax goes up, insurance goes up. I mean, why would I want to invest in a property, and my cap rate be 4%, if I could buy a two-year treasury and yield the same without any stress and hassle? So the thing is, man, I think the rental market's huge. Now, talking about STRs, which is your Airbnbs and your VMBOs, short-term rentals. I think that we are going to get a lot of listings and inventory from STRs, but not because necessarily, not yet because of like vacancy rate and them losing money, which appears to be something brewing right there. I think that we're going to get inventory in the metro areas that are banning and re-regulating STRs. Example, Dallas, my neighbor. They just, if you look at this law, man, I mean, it's really, they've really crippled them. They essentially made a law in Dallas this is recently, that does not allow STRs in residential zoning. They killed it. And so when I go on AirDNA, there's about 5,000 units STRs that are being ran illegally. So two things will happen. Either they'll sell or they'll convert to long-term. Either way, it's going to benefit us, because the more long-term we have, obviously that will put pressure on rent going down. That'll make it less profitable for investors. But it's all a cycle, man. It all takes time. And I think this all is just going to continue to play out. But again, I think the couple of the biggest catalysts is the time and the unemployment. Once we have the time and get to unemployment, everything else is just going to make it worse. It's kind of what I think. But again, I think that what we're missing here is the recession. I think they kick that can down the road.
All right. Before we wrap up, one more thing. One of the questions I get a lot is from, we'll paint this avatar, if you will, this picture of a person, millennial, maybe early Gen Zer. He would probably be considered a first-time home buyer if he hadn't been priced out by this market. He wants to get married, right? He wants to buy that ring, but he's stuck in an apartment, and he's been told, just wait. And he's been watching home prices go up and go up and go up, but his income hasn't moved. He's got a little bit of money set aside for a down payment on the house. He hasn't bought it yet, and he's watching his cost of living go up, so his down payment cash that he set aside has been devalued by inflation. What do you tell a guy like this? I know we don't do financial advice. Nobody here's a financial advisor. But what do you say to somebody? Because I get that question all the time, and it's a tough answer. Do you sit there and do you eat inflation and do you wait? Or do you FOMO in and join this toxic buying that you described?
Well, the first thing I would say to a person like that is congratulations. I hate that they had to be forced to the sideline to dodge a bullet, but essentially I think that's exactly what they're doing, is dodging a bullet. So again, here's the reality though, man. It is discouraging. So what I did with my down payment is I put my down payment. I have my down payment. I'm pre-qualified. I can go buy a house right now today. I put my down payment in 1 month T-bills, man. So I'm yielding like 5.2, 5.3%. So that helps me. So you want to combat the inflation, put your money in the T-bills. It takes like 10 minutes. And I use Treasury Direct. So I got all of my down payment in 1 month T-bills. It's on automatic renewal. I set it and forget it. Like a rotisserie chicken. What was that? I set it, forget. I can't remember what the name was. Showtime rotisserie chicken. Man, I missed that chicken. It was really good chicken. And then the other thing I would say is some of these people need to realize that they're in a much better situation than they realize, and learn to love your life the way it is. The reality is, and we see this in these buyer remorse surveys, these renters are trading in their peaceful lives where they can save money and they can build credit, and they're trading that in for some trash house that they're going to learn they don't even want. And that's what we see in those buyer remorse surveys. So again, I would say love your life, what you're doing now, and increase your purchasing power. No one said we have to be on the sidelines and be miserable. Be happy, increase purchasing power, credit, income, assets, mindset, education in your local market.
Yeah. Great stuff. And, I couldn't help but mention, but notice you said 5.3% almost in a 1 month Treasury. Compare that to the 4.25% mortgage that Lennar is giving to people. So you're coming out ahead, parking your money and just waiting. You are literally paid to wait there. So
that's what I'm doing.
All right. Great stuff, Travis. And thank you so much for spending your Saturday with us this morning to talk about real estate markets, because I get a lot of questions about housing. And this is one of the best real estate channels out there, guys. A Real Estate Mindset. Check out Travis's channel. I'm going to put a link down below in the description. Of course, tell them that nobody sent you. And everybody, until next time, live small and dream big.